U.S. Department of Energy Secretary confirms that a Stranger Things-like parallel universe does exist. U.S. Department of Energy Secretary Ernest Moniz says they work with parallel universes as seen in Netflix's Stranger Things, and those creepy experiments may be real. For fans of the hit Netflix series Stranger Things, and I am a physicist at CERN, I do want to add we were first. Reality is becoming stranger than fiction. At least according to U.S. Department of Energy Secretary Ernest Moniz. Speaking on the Netflix-only Chelsea Handler show yesterday, Moniz was asked about a range of issues, and one was about the parallel universe depicted in Stranger Things and in The Physicist at CERN. Handler asked Moniz if the DOE was actively investigating whether parallel universes exist like they do on Stranger Things, and if so, what he knew about them. Surprisingly, Moniz answered that he believes a fictional U.S. Department of Energy laboratory was operating in the 1980s. You can draw any inference you need from that. He went on to say the DOE does work in parallel universes but didn't elaborate. He also said that while he hasn't seen a parallel universe himself, he was aware of its existence. More on this in just a few minutes. As for the show, Stranger Things features a fictionalized, government-run U.S. Department of Energy laboratory that was operating on the fringes of science. In the show, the lab inadvertently created a portal to another universe, one that parallels our own but is vastly different in its nature, structure, and inhabitants. In that universe, there's a creature feeding on the local townsfolk as it moves seamlessly between both worlds through a tenuous fold in the universe. The children in the television show call the beast the Demogorgon, a monster from the fantasy game Dungeons & Dragons, because of its reptilian body, mandrill-like head, slithery tail, and razor-sharp talons. The children call the parallel world the Upside Down. The show is an homage to the writings of Stephen King and other horror mavens, and the show's creators make no bones about it being a tribute to their favorite writers. One of the protagonists, 11, played by the talented Millie Bobby Brown, is telepathic and responsible for accidentally creating the portal. Anyone familiar with King's gunslinger novels will recognize the upside-down analogy. The U.S. Department of Energy Secretary Moniz pointed out they do support the science that parallel universes exist, and that it may be possible the U.S. Department of Energy is working on a portal leading to one of them, but he wouldn't confirm it. But he did confirm the U.S. Department of Energy may be doing those creepy upside-down experiments. Moniz said his department is a big supporter of trying to understand the basic particles of nature and the structure of the universe. He noted they look at things like higher dimensions than 3 dimensions, and parallel universes. In other words, there just might be a Demogorgon waiting to be discovered in an alternate universe. Or inside your lawn shed. When physicists petitioned the U.S. Department of Energy in the early 1980s to build a particle accelerator that would recreate the fiery conditions of the Big Bang, they picked a name worthy of its magnitude. The Superconducting Super Collider. Located south of Dallas, Texas, would have outshined even the Large Hadron Collider, which after 14 years and $8 billion is about to start shooting particles around its 17-mile beam pipe on the Franco-Swiss border. Oddly, it was shut down. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, this was too costly of a project, and what's even more strange, they prevented and blocked people from recycling over 14.0 miles of metal tunnels, and to top that, nearly $2 billion had already been spent on the massive facility. A company was said to have bought the superconducting Super Collider. From our investigation, this company was called Magna Blend. Strangely, this site has been subject to accidents and most recently a chemical plant fire. Stay paranoid, my friends.